I sit cross-legged on the hardwood floor of my parents' living room, the pine scent trying to sell a feeling I cannot buy. My sister Elodie turns a set of shiny keys, and the metal flashes the tree lights. Dad grins. Mom presses her hands beneath her chin as if a miracle has arrived. In the driveway, a white BMW gleams with a red bow. In my lap sits a plastic piggy bank shaped like a cartoon pig. The price sticker they missed says 1.99. Mom points to the rubber stopper. Open it, sweetie. Two crisp $1 bills slide into my palm and feel heavier than they should. Starter fund for your first home, Dad declares with a casual flick, because you are so responsible with money, unlike some people. He winks at Elodie. She fake pouts, then spins, perfume rising like a pink cloud. Do not worry, sis. I will drive you wherever you need, she says, patting my knee as if I am fragile. Your little car must be close to its last mile by now. My car carried me through mountain passes and pre-dawn commutes, and never complained. I swallow. The room goes soft at the edges. 32 years of smaller versions of this moment click together like tiles in a floor. I have always walked. It is not a surprise. It is a pattern. This morning, I placed their gifts under the tree. A leather messenger for Dad that cost 2 weeks of overtime. The gold hoops Mom admired in a shop window last fall. A camera lens Elodie mentioned in passing. I also carried 2 sentences I rehearsed the whole drive from Boise. Project Lead, Hospital Edition. I earned it. No one asks what is new with me. Excuse me, I say. Upstairs, the bathroom mirror returns a face too composed. I wait for tears that refuse to come. The ache is not melodrama, it is physics. Pressure building where breath should be. Hours later, laughter drifts up the stairs as they plan Elodie's first road trip. At 2:17, I sit up. I pack only what matters. The cedar box with my first blueprints. A photo album with pages stuck from the rain that day in 9th grade. The soft bear my grandmother stitched from a dress she loved. I leave the messenger, the earrings, the lens. I set my house key on the kitchen counter beside the timer that will start the coffee at 5. They made a choice. I make one too. Streetlights turn to halos as I ease onto the empty highway. Bing Crosby tries to promise a holiday, and I turn the volume to silence. My hands tighten and then let go. Have yourself a merry little Christmas, I whisper to the empty seat. Merry lodges in my throat, like a seed I will not water again. The snow thickens as I push farther south, wipers beating a frantic rhythm against the windshield. The dashboard clock blinks 3:12 a.m. My Toyota groans with each curve, but she holds steady, her engine humming like an old friend who refuses to abandon me. The irony gnaws at me. This car, bought secondhand and paid off through years of weekend shifts, has been more loyal than the people I just left behind. Highway signs rise out of the darkness like ghosts. 50 miles to Eugene, 100 to the state line. I grip the wheel until my knuckles ache, afraid that if I loosen even slightly, the storm will swallow me. Memories slice through the silence. Elodie's 5th birthday. 3 ponies in the backyard, a bouncy castle, neighbors lined up at the gate. Mine the following year. Half a sheet cake from the discount store. 2 friends from class. Paper hats that wilted before we sang. Your sister needs the stimulation, Dad explained. You are more independent. High school graduation. My voice trembling through the valedictorian speech, staring at rows of empty seats in the family section. They had chosen to drive 3 hours away for Elodie's soccer game instead. Mom promised to watch the tape. It still sits unwrapped in a box under my bed. Your sister needs encouragement, she said. You always succeed on your own. My throat tightens. Success without witness feels like failure. Headlights flare behind me, then vanish as a semi roars past, spraying slush across the windshield. For 3 heart-stopping seconds, I drive blind. My chest seizes until the wipers clear a thin path, the road appearing again like a reprieve. I force air into my lungs. My hands tremble. But I keep driving. I refuse to turn back. At 4 a.m., my phone buzzes in the cup holder. Mom's face lights the screen. Not are you safe? Not come home. The preview reads, Did you remember to pay the electric bill for the cabin before leaving Boise? The cabin they use for weekend escapes, the one Elodie fills with curated photos for her followers. My laugh cracks in the dark, sharp and bitter. I let the call ring into silence. 5 minutes later, Dad's name flashes. Then Elodie's. I switch the phone to silent, the screen's glow fading like their claims on me. The horizon begins to pale, thin streaks of silver edging the clouds. For the first time in hours, I pull off the road. Hazard lights blink against the falling snow. I drop my forehead onto the steering wheel and let the cold seep through me. 32 years of favoritism, excuses, and erasure crystallize with brutal clarity. Dad, the financial gatekeeper, who withheld from me while funding Elodie's whims. Mom, the emotional manipulator, who dressed neglect as encouragement. Together, they built the perfect machine, and I was the disposable gear. The phone vibrates again. This time, the caller ID reads Marina Perez, my college roommate, my only real witness. Where are you? Her voice fills the car when I answer. Somewhere south of Portland, I whisper, surprised by how broken I sound. Then keep driving, she says firmly. Head to San Diego, stay with me. Family doesn't do this, not real family. The word family stings, but her tone carries something I have never heard from my parents. Choice. Okay, I breathe. And for the first time that night, hope flickers with the dawn. By the time I reach San Diego, the December sun is bright and merciless, burning away the frost that clung to me through Oregon and Nevada. The ocean glitters to my right as if daring me to imagine a new life. My Toyota rattles into Marina's driveway, its hood streaked with salt and road grime, but it has carried me safely across states. I step out stiff and hollow, my body sore from the marathon drive, my spirit even more exhausted. Marina rushes out, curls bouncing, her arms wrapping me in a hug that smells of coffee and lavender detergent. You made it, she whispers, and the words break something inside me. No one in my family has ever sounded relieved just because I arrived. Her guest room is small but warm. A terracotta comforter brightens the bed, and the window faces west so the afternoon light spills across the floor. I unpack the essentials, my cedar box of blueprints, the photo album, the bear. They look fragile in this unfamiliar space, but they are proof I carried something of myself here. On Monday, I walk into the glass tower of Arcadia Design Group, the architectural firm where I had interviewed months earlier but declined a transfer. Now I ask again. My supervisor reviews my file, frowning. You led the Boise Hospital wing expansion, didn't you? When I nod, he simply says, We'll take you. The approval feels almost too easy, as though all along the only barrier was my willingness to step forward. Still, the nights echo with what I left behind. That is when Marina presses a white business card into my hand. Dr. Elaine Harper, Family Therapy. I'm not crazy, I protest. She shrugs. Neither am I, but I still see a therapist. Carrying pain this long is heavier than you know. I go. Dr. Harper's office smells faintly of lemon polish and stacked books. She doesn't rush me. After 3 sessions, I finally say the word aloud. Favoritism. The sound is jagged in the air, like breaking glass. She nods. Naming it is the first step towards setting it down. In February, Marina drags me to a pottery class at a community center. I want to refuse, but she insists. My hands sink into cool clay, trembling as I shape it. The instructor, a silver-haired woman in paint-splattered overalls, leans close. Don't force it. Listen to what it wants to become. By the end of class, I have made a lopsided bowl. Ugly, uneven, ridiculous. And yet when I hold it, I feel an unfamiliar spark of pride. It is mine. Entirely mine. Late that night, I placed the bowl on the windowsill beside the stuffed bear. The clay still damp, the bear's fur still faded, both whisper the same truth. Even broken things can hold a beginning. For the first time since Christmas morning, I fall asleep without rehearsing an apology. The first voicemail arrives on a rainy Wednesday. I almost delete it without listening. but curiosity wins. Dad's voice thunders through the speaker. Iris, this childish behavior has gone on long enough. Bring back the Toyota, or I'll report it stolen. Don't make me involve the police. My Toyota, the one with my name on the title, the one I paid off myself, one. The second message comes minutes later. Mom's tone softer but sharper in its cruelty. My blood pressure is dangerously high. The doctor says the stress could kill me. Do you want that on your conscience? I close my eyes, the manipulation as familiar as my own breath. By the end of the week, the calls multiply. My voicemail is a graveyard of accusations, pleas, and thinly veiled threats. Then the whispers start. A former coworker messages me on LinkedIn. Hey, are you okay? Your family says you had some kind of breakdown. Another writes, I heard you joined a cult? My parents' narrative has spread like wildfire, painting me as unstable. Meanwhile, Elodie posts filtered photos of herself beside the BMW, captions dripping with hashtags. #blessed, #family, love, #dream car. Each image feels like a slap. I begin filling the piggy bank again, this time with $2 bills, one for each week of freedom, a ritual of defiance. When the bills flutter inside the plastic shell, the sound is sharper than any insult. March arrives with fog rolling off the ocean. One Tuesday afternoon, as I return from a client site visit, the receptionist buzzes my office line. Someone's here for you. I step into the lobby and freeze. Elodie stands in her designer coat, sunglasses perched on her head, smile brittle as porcelain. Surprise, she chirps, but her eyes dart nervously. My throat dries. She shouldn't know where I work. I just needed to see you, she says quickly. We're worried. Mom cries every night. Dad can't sleep. You can't keep doing this to us. Her words sound rehearsed, as though my parents wrote her script. Behind her, Marina appears, holding 2 coffee cups. She takes in the scene instantly. This is not the place, she says firmly, stepping between us. If you want to talk to your sister, you'll need to schedule it. Otherwise, you need to leave. Elodie's face flushes crimson. So now you have bodyguards? Her voice sharpens, but the lobby is full of strangers watching. She retreats, muttering something about family loyalty, before the glass doors swallow her whole. I stand rooted, heart hammering. Marina presses a cup into my hand. They're losing control, so they're desperate. I take a shaky sip, the coffee bitter on my tongue. For the first time in my life, I am not the one trembling in the face of confrontation. They are. And that realization tastes stronger than any coffee ever could. Spring settles into San Diego, with orange blossoms drifting on warm breezes. But inside me, a storm is building. At work, my projects thrive. I am trusted with high-rise blueprints that will reshape the skyline. My boss praises my precision. My colleagues respect my voice. Yet when I come home to the terracotta-walled apartment, the silence hums with unease. Every Friday evening, I slip a crisp $2 bill into the piggy bank. The plastic clatter has become my metronome of defiance, a rhythm reminding me of how far I have come. 30 bills so far, each one a week reclaimed from my family's grasp. Then the ivory envelope arrives. Cousin Danielle's wedding invitation, sealed in gold, lands in my mailbox like a challenge. My name loops in elegant calligraphy, with no +1. Expected to return unaccompanied. Expected to perform my role in the family drama. I place the envelope on the counter and leave it untouched for 3 days. When I finally tear it open, my heart thuds. The wedding is in Los Angeles, only a 2-hour drive north. There will be no hiding. The messages start within hours. Aunt June emails me. Family unity is sacred. You'll regret staying away. Uncle Mark calls, telling me forgiveness is divine. Even Danielle's fiancé sends a Facebook message. It would mean so much if you patch things up before the ceremony. They are coordinating. I can see the strings being pulled, my parents in the shadows, directing their chorus of voices. The old Iris would have folded, swept back into their orbit out of guilt. But I am not the old Iris. Dr. Harper sits across from me, in her lemon-scented office when I tell her. She doesn't flinch. You feel cornered. I nod, twisting the hem of my sleeve. It's like they're pulling me back into a web I just escaped. Then you decide the terms, she says simply. The boundary is the message. You go not because they expect it, but because you choose to confront them. That night, Marina helps me shop for a dress, midnight blue silk tailored to skim my shoulders and fall in unapologetic lines. You'll walk in like a storm they can't control, she says, her smile fierce. Still, fear coils tight in my stomach. In quiet moments, I imagine Dad's booming voice, Mom's trembling accusations, Elodie's patronizing smile. My palms sweat, my breath quickens. But then I touch the lopsided clay bowl on my windowsill and the piggy bank beside it, heavier now with defiant currency. They remind me of something vital. I am no longer a child waiting for scraps of affection. I'm a woman preparing for a reckoning. And this time, it will be on my terms. The morning of the wedding rehearsal dawns gray, Los Angeles draped in a marine layer that makes the city feel hushed and expectant. I drive north with the dress folded carefully in the back seat, the piggy bank secured in a tote bag beside me. Each mile closer tightens the knot in my stomach, but the skyline rising through the mist steals me. I'm not coming as their scapegoat. I am coming as myself. The hotel where the family has gathered glitters with chandeliers and marble floors. I check into my own room at the Hilton 4 blocks away, ignoring Dad's voicemail insisting I stay in the family suite. Family sticks together, he barked. But boundaries are my message, and the message is clear. I will not sleep under their roof. At the rehearsal dinner, I step through heavy wooden doors and the conversations falter. Heads turn. My mother's hand rises to her throat. Dad's glass freezes midair, and Elodie's smile falters before she plasters it back on. I walk with deliberate calm, heels tapping against stone. Midnight blue silk hugs my frame, confidence stitched into every seam. Relatives swarm, but not with ridicule. Cousins whisper, "You look incredible." Aunt June grips my hand too tightly, whispering that the family hasn't been the same since Christmas. Her tone carries blame, but also something else. Fear. Elodie corners me near the bar, her eyes rimmed with sleeplessness. "You look different," she says, the words almost bitter. Then she blurts, "The BMW's gone, repossessed. I'm drowning in debt." Her voice cracks, not with apology, but desperation. I feel a pang of sympathy, but it doesn't erase the years. Dad interrupts, pulling me aside with bourbon-heavy breath. "Enough games, Iris. You humiliated us by running, but this weekend is about family. You will behave." His jaw tightens, his authority rehearsed. I meet his gaze evenly. Behave or obey? His face reddens, but before he can reply, Mom appears, clutching tissues. "We need to talk privately," she insists, voice trembling. "The three of us. Tonight." "It's important." The words chill me. They are staging something. Later, I am ushered into the library of the venue, its tall shelves lined with leather-bound books no one reads. Dad paces, Mom sits rigid in a velvet chair. Elodie hovers near the window. The air feels heavy, rehearsed, like a courtroom where judgment waits. Mom's voice breaks the silence. "Your father lost his job 3 months ago. I'm seeing a therapist for depression. We're selling the house." Her eyes glisten, but the tears feel calculated. Dad adds, "It all started when you walked out." The perfect trifecta: financial collapse, health crisis, guilt. My old self would have bent under the weight of it, but I sit down calmly, the tote with the piggy bank at my feet. My pulse steadies. This time, I did not come to bend. I came to confront. The library door closes with a dull thud, sealing us into the staged drama. Dust motes drift in the lamplight, floating like evidence waiting to be exposed. Dad paces by the fireplace, shoulders hunched as if preparing for battle. Mom clutches tissues that remain mysteriously dry, and Elodie taps one manicured finger against the glass of the window pane, unable to meet my eyes. "You've made your point," Dad begins, his voice heavy with command. "Now it's time to stop this rebellion and remember your place." I lean back in the chair, the midnight silk of my dress cool against my skin. Calmness surprises me. My place? That's what we're here to settle, isn't it? Mom leaps in, voice trembling. We only ever wanted the best for you, Iris. You've twisted everything. I reach into the toad at my feet and slide a leather-bound album onto the table. Twisted? Let's see. I flip to a page, two photographs taped side by side. Elodie's 5th birthday, a princess gown, ponies in the yard. My 6th birthday, a sheet cake in a bare kitchen. Equal treatment? I ask softly. Elodie winces. Dad waves a hand. Old memories. Irrelevant. I flip again. Graduation photos. My empty family seats in the auditorium. A newspaper clipping with my valedictorian speech. You didn't come because of Elodie's soccer match. That wasn't irrelevant to me. Mom's lips part, but no words come. I pull out a manila folder next, laying bank statements in careful rows. My student loans, $68,000. Every semester a new debt. Compare that to the transfers funding Elodie's year abroad in Italy. All documented. The silence thickens. Elodie's cheeks flush crimson. That's not fair. You chose engineering. You chose debt. I chose passion, I counter. You chose art. The difference is, they believed yours was worth investing in. Finally, I place the plastic piggy bank on the table. Its hollow clatter cuts through the air. Dad scoffs. What nonsense is this? I twist the stopper and pour its contents across the polished wood. Dozens of crisp $2 bills scatter like feathers, their unusual green standing out against the mahogany. One for every week since Christmas, I explain. Each bill a reminder of what you decided I was worth. Not enough to stand beside my sister, not enough to share in pride. Just $2. Mom finally cries, the sound raw this time. We never meant. Intent doesn't erase impact, I interrupt. My voice is steady, and it surprises me. If you want reconciliation, I have 2 conditions: family therapy and respect for my boundaries. No more rewriting the past, no more guilt games. Dad's face hardens. He opens his mouth to argue, but Mom lays a hand on his arm. We'll do it, she whispers, eyes shining. Whatever it takes. I gather the album and folder, but leave the pile of $2 bills where they lie. Then start with these, I say, standing. Their stares follow me to the door. For the first time, the weight is not on my shoulders. It is on theirs. 1 year later, sunlight spills through the wide windows of my San Diego apartment, warming the pottery bowls lining the sill. The piggy bank sits on the mantel, not as a wound, but as a monument, its belly heavy with more $2 bills. 52 now, 1 for each week since the night I walked away. The table is set for Christmas dinner. Rosemary and sage perfume the air. Laughter hums in the background. Marina uncorks a bottle of wine, while my colleagues from Arcadia Design Group help themselves to roasted vegetables. At the head of the table sits Thomas, an environmental engineer I met on the Richardson Tower project. His hand brushes mine as he carves the turkey, his touch steady, grounded. Not lightning, but a current I can trust. To Iris, Marina toasts, raising her glass. Who builds bridges better than anyone, between steel and concrete, and between pain and possibility? Heat floods my cheeks. I glance around the table. These are people who choose to be here, not out of obligation, but love. After dessert, my phone buzzes. A scheduled video call. Elodie's face fills the screen, framed by the modest apartment she now rents on her own. Her smile is thinner, but more real than I've ever seen. Merry Christmas, she says. I made something for you. She holds up a crooked clay ornament, clearly her first attempt at pottery. It's not perfect, but I thought you'd appreciate it. Behind her, Dad leans into view, smaller, sober, 90 days into his program. We're proud of you, he says quietly. Mom's voice calls from the background about a food drive she's volunteering at. For once, their words carry no strings. We talk for a few minutes before saying goodbye. When the call ends, I look at the ornament on the screen, my heart swelling with something that feels like forgiveness, not the blind kind that erases wounds, but the cautious kind that honors scars. Later, I step onto the balcony with Thomas. San Diego Bay glitters under the night sky, the lights of bridges I helped design reflecting on the water. He wraps a blanket over my shoulders. "Deep thoughts?" he asks. I smile faintly. Just gratitude, for this life, for the lesson. Because here is what I finally understand. Worth is not measured in the size of a gift or the shine of a red bow. Worth is not something handed out by parents or withheld by favoritism. Worth is what you claim when you decide what you will no longer accept. The piggy bank inside glows under the string lights, not as a reminder of pain, but as proof of a boundary drawn and honored. Sometimes the greatest gift is walking away. And sometimes the miracle is discovering that when you do, you finally find the family and the self you were meant to belong to.